Hello. Hello. Oh, am I muted?
No.
I hear you.
No, I'm not. Oh, it looks like I'm muted because I've got two screens open. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome. Welcome. Good afternoon. It is the Anti-Fascist Book Club here on Banner and Backbone. I see people starting to come on in. Welcome. Join us. Good to see everybody. Smash the heart as you come on in. I'm Nick Perro. I'm joined by my friends and returning guests and colleagues, Tara Devlin of Terra Buster,
Hey guys.
Stephanie Wilson of Freedom Over Fascism, and Melissa Corrigan of Counterstory Media, and so much more. And so much more for all three of them. It's great to see y'all. How is everyone today before we jump in on the book club?
They always ask that question. It's hard to answer. Really.
I think I
I'll go
decided
last.
that the question isn't how are you doing? It's are you still breathing?
Yeah, that's true, right?
Are
That's
you dead yet?
really
Yes.
keeping it real.
Right.
There.
Oh, but are you also doing the deep breaths that you
Right.
need to do to get through this moment? And
Mhm.
Right.
because
Right.
great isn't going to be one of our
Yeah.
answers, I don't think.
Unless you're disconnected, I guess. I don't know. I guess there are people like that are. But how can you feel great and when there's so many people suffering too? That's the other thing. So there's
Yeah.
got to be something wrong with you if you're not somewhat concerned. I think. I don't know. I mean, not that you gotta you gotta to take care of yourself too to be effective. But yeah, I don't know. Anybody else?
I don't know. This week I'm a little more buoyant after the blue wave
True.
and
That
going
is good.
to DC and seeing all those beautiful people come out and
Right.
participate. And honestly, also the mood and behavior of the police that were there, especially the Capitol Police. Like hell, some of them looked like they wanted to hop in with us. They were very
Probably did.
Yes.
Given their
Right.
history.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was a
And
positive
given they've
thing.
been
for
killed, yeah, given Capitol police officers were killed by J6 rioters, I think it's a pretty natural
That
thing.
Michael Fanone was with us at the march, so it was
Awesome.
Oh,
it
wow.
was one of their own,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And who are they going to trust and believe? One of their
Mhm.
own, somebody telling them who to trust and believe.
Or that what they experienced didn't happen.
Yeah.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was just like a fun day at the Capitol So Melissa, how many people showed up, you think?
I don't have a count. It was several thousand. Yeah, it was a good hefty crowd.
That's amazing.
They took the concern seriously. There were barricades up that I haven't seen up in ages in DC. So all around the perimeter of the Capitol grounds, you couldn't go on the grass around the Capitol. It was, they had all that barricaded. So yeah, they're taking it seriously.
Yes.
Well, and you were talking, they were also like, you said they wanted to join. Some of them looked like they wanted to join in and they were taking it seriously. But I was also listening to you on Shane's show just a little bit ago, talking about this and how there was a situation that you were de-escalating and helped de-escalate. And it looked more like they wanted to support the peaceful protesters in every way they could.
Absolutely. There was one
Doing that.
guy there, or it was a three, but one guy is clearly some kind of content creator, a little Charlie Kirk wannabe, and he was out there with his little mic sticking it in people's faces and just being provocative. And the Capitol Police, there were a couple that were on bikes, and they would just scoot their bike by him and push him off to the side, and they
Good.
kept separating him from the crowd. So yeah, it was very cool.
I want to hear about what happened and how you helped de-escalate. I know we're getting off track, but this is.
Yeah, well, I think it's very important for middle-aged white women to talk about how we can utilize our invisibility in moments like that. I've been covering protests. I covered Occupy for Examiner. And even back then in my 30s, there is just this invisibility that comes with being a white woman, that you can use to your advantage. I was able to just get in there. Like, I've never been harmed by police. I've never, ever. So there are ways that you can use that. So there was this moment where this young kid kept trying to provoke things, and it wasn't being wholly successful. So I noticed he began targeting black men
Oh,
to
of course.
God.
attempt to escalate, and he would stick the mic in their face and start asking them questions. And so there was one little hairy moment where a guy slapped his hand to knock the mic away. And so I already was recording, and so I just stepped in between them. And I mean, we were very, very close. Everyone was touching. And I just step in between them. And when I say I'm invisible, I showed my husband the video, and he thinks it's hilarious because the guy's mic, like holding his mic over my head, and they're having a conversation over my head. But all I know is neither of these guys is going to swing when I'm in the middle. And so that's all I'm just going to put my body in between there. And I think that's I know this is part of the training that's done for protests, that if you're a middle-aged white woman, you can insert your body in positions that will de-escalate a situation really, really fast. So it is what it is, and if you can use your privilege in that way, in that moment, to de-escalate, and here I am going on a tangent, but this is why I love being in the position that I'm in. If I was there on behalf of the AP or Routers or NPR, I could not have inserted myself in that moment, because when you're a journalist, you document, you don't intervene.
Mm-hmm.
And that's become an ethical thing. That's a battle for a lot of on the ground journalists in moments where you want to intervene, you want to stop something bad from happening, but is it your job to intervene, or is it your job to document? And in that moment, because I'm independent, I can take off my journalist hat and put on my citizen hat and step in and say, hey, the headline today does not need to be that a black man punched a white college kid. That doesn't need to be the headline. And I'm not going to document that shit go down in real time, when all I have to do is step in. And I don't have to say anything. And I didn't say a word. And I'm going to be posting it's like a 4-minute video of the whole incident. But this is where independent journalists get to choose in that moment. Am I going to stay in the journalist mode, or am I going to enter my citizen mode and do what I know is right? So I was grateful to be able to make that call in that moment.
That's great.
I think it's good that you have the opportunity to make that call in the moment too, and that
Right.
you took it and took advantage of it.
But also the courage to step between two angry men is not nothing.
Right.
But there's it's just that awareness that, I mean, this kid looked like my young adult sons, which also makes me sad because he's being failed by his parents, if that's what he's out here doing. But I knew he wouldn't swing on me, and the black guy is a veteran, and I'd been walking with him and talking, and I knew he wasn't going to swing if I was there. So I wasn't really scared, because I knew neither one of them would swing if I just was there. So, yeah.
Well, at least you knew they weren't going to swing with you there, and you were able to use your, I guess, invisibleness to your advantage, which I don't know if that's a good, like, if that's supposed to be a compliment to you or not.
I love it.
I'm glad for this case that you are semi-invisible as a woman, because a middle-aged woman, because you get to go into a space that other people don't, and you can handle it.
You're invisible. I don't know. You can't see that half of my hair is like gray. Not only are you invisible, but then if someone sees you struggling, they step in and help. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like totally different world than
it is
in your 20s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, it's always, when I remember when I was younger, getting pulled over for speeding and just immediately starting to cry and got out of the ticket.
Oh, did you? I was just like, okay, tell me what I did. Give me the ticket. Let's move on. Come on.
Yeah.
So, and I knew it. I knew that if I turned on the waterworks, I was, like 20 years old. And I'm like, please, my father will kill me.
I think that does
Yeah.
sort of lean into our topic today, because our topic is today, right, is standing out
Stand
and
out.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
not being afraid to stand out. And that's what I love about going to DC and being with these people, especially the grassroots organizers that have been going and going, is that they just feel like I do, that not acting is just not an option. And I it's weird when people say like, oh, you're stepping up as a leader, or you're so brave, and like, oh, we should all be doing this. We should all be doing this. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, like that's the minimum, isn't it? That we should be doing is stepping up and putting ourselves where we can, and
Right.
how we can. And it's really unfortunate. I think the unfortunate thing that I saw yesterday from all of it was what you were talking about, was why is it being led by disabled veterans and not folks who can actually like move and walk? Why are
Right.
we making the veterans who are disabled, who've done it before, who've signed up to do this, why are they the ones leading that charge in a lot of ways, by them and by themselves? Like, veterans shouldn't have to walk miles and miles and miles with canes and
Right.
walkers and wheelchairs and mobile assist devices, when there's perfectly healthy people out there
Yep.
who keep asking, how can we help? What can we do? How do we make our
They'll do
democracy better?
anything but come to DC. They'll do anything but, like, and that's what
Yeah,
it's going to take. Like, you got to come to DC. There's no other answer at this point. You got to go to DC.
yeah. And like, maybe using
Can
this
you
as a
explain what you're, because I don't think a lot of people know what you're talking about, like this protest
So
that happened.
oh yeah, let's
right.
get some
This
context.
was day one of a sustained resistance movement in DC. Starting yesterday, some of these coalition, or Wednesday, some of these coalition organizations moved in, and they're not leaving. Now, it's not an occupation like Occupy. They're not setting up tents and all that, because that's, it's not worth the fight to just do the nighttime situation. But it's come to DC, stay in an Airbnb, stay. They're organizing some housing. They do have a little housing area that's almost like a hostel with some bunk beds if you literally just want to crash overnight. But their thing is that we need people on the ground every day in DC. There are things going on in these government buildings that if the American people are standing outside looking at them while they are debating this, that's going to have an impact. And the amount of people, like today, 9 a.m., the Supreme Court had a closed door meeting. I guess they're still in that meeting discussing whether to take up marriage again, because
Oh,
Kim
God
Cunty
damn it.
Davis decides with her bad
Yeah.
hair that she is, the one that decides what sanctity of marriage is with her 3
Yeah.
divorces. So, they had people out there at 9 a.m. standing in front of the Supreme Court. So the idea is that we are going to make our government face us. They have to walk past us to get in the building. They know we're out
Right.
there.
Well,
And
that's
the
good.
more people that we have on the ground. And the cool thing is, it had a great kickoff. There were lots of people there. It went beautifully, perfectly, peaceful. And so I just got word, and I have a poster here, that Dropkick Murphys is playing November 22nd on the Washington Mall. It's an open rally. So come to
Wow.
DC. If you can get there November 22nd, you'll get in on a free Dropkick Murphys show. But that's what it's going to take too. And I love that Dropkick has not been afraid to stand out in the music scene. They have stepped up and used their voice and spoken out, and they have played entire concerts with Trump and Epstein picture on the giant, thing behind them. And so watching them come out and come to DC and take part in this, because they know their name's going to get people there. So I'm hoping we see other, musicians and artists show up in that way.
Yeah. So let's read a little bit from Standout, from chapter 8 of on tyranny. So for anybody who's listening in, we are still going through Timothy Snyder's On Tyranny. Right now, we're looking at chapters 8 and 9 today, which are, well, 8 through 10 realistically. But is stand out, be kind to our language, and believe in truth. But it's really, I focused on the two butt ends of that, which is stand out with the truth. And so I want to read the opening quote for stand out because I think it's super important and it's just this simple. Is chapter 8, stand out. Someone has to. It is easy to follow along. It can feel strange to do or say something different, but without that unease, there is no freedom. Remember Rosa Parks. The moment you set an example, the spell of the status quo is broken and others will follow. Like, it's that easy. It's that easy that we just have to put ourselves out there. Stand out by putting your voice out there. Like, part of what we've started doing is standing out in our own unique ways that we can by putting our voices out there and talking and doing this book club and exposing information to everybody and having Melissa go down to DC and or during the last No Kings protest dress up in a very specific outfit and very constitutional era garb and look like she's ready to go to the Constitutional Convention. She stood out. She didn't blend into the crowd. She stood out and she had a good message. She was handing out the flyers, the new paper, and like doing things that are old-fashioned looking and sounding and feeling, but they stand out because people latch onto them. They want physical interaction and touch and something in their hands to be able to, like, tangible. They want a tangible experience, and Melissa gave a tangible experience, and continues to. And that's where I think, Melissa, one of the reasons I love all the work you do so much is you stand out like that, is you put yourself out there and you're not afraid to do it. And I think we have a lot to learn from this group, and everyone here, is how to stand out in our own unique ways, and what that means, and taking it upon yourself at home too to think, how can I stand out in a meaningful way? And it could be as simple as just acknowledging your neighbors whenever they walk by. Like, it could be just as simple as you've never done it before, but now you're going to go out and you're going to wave to your neighbors and you're going to say, hey, how's it going? Hope you're having a great day. And that's it. Stand out just a little bit. And you'll find it each day it's easier because you're not as nervous to stand out because you're like, oh, I'm comfortable doing this. I'm comfortable saying hi to my neighbors. Now, maybe I can be comfortable telling them a little bit of my opinion about things. And that's all it takes. It's tough to take the first step, but you have to do it.
It's easier
no
if
more
you have
excuses.
a dog that you're walking.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you have a dog or a cat, even put your cat on a leash. And
That's a
walk your cat.
conversation starter, right?
Yeah. If you've got a turtle or a bird or a snake, put those things on leashes and walk them around. Put your rabbit into a frickin', if you got like rabbits and stuff or guinea pigs, put them into a baby stroller and walk them around the park and see what
I have
they
a guinea
think.
pig. I would look very good in a stroller, that's sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And a little tricorn hat too.
And that's a conversation
gosh.
starter.
That is
Like,
that's
That
like
would be. I got to take him out. He needs to be part of the resistance. But when and this is why I think that people should stand out in by confronting the lies when they are heard and encountered. That's one of the things that always drives me insane is that, I guess it's that this is why I do a podcast. It's probably we all share the same kind of personality of not staying silent when people are, spreading bullshit and lies. And I think that a lot of people, because people don't want to be confrontational, so they just avoid it when one of their maggot neighbors are, saying some bullshit. Because that's, we're talking about being invisible as white women, but as middle-aged white women, right? But as middle-aged white women too, there's a lot of assumptions that are made too. If you encounter other white people, they maybe not in New York where I live, but they in other part, like for example, I grew up on Staten Island, and that is the only Republican borough, and I have encountered a lot of you'd be surprised racism over there on Staten Island, right?
No, I heard the rumor
Yeah.
that it was Staten Island was a little bit
You
like
might be
that.
shocked, right? And because you're white, and I guess on Staten Island, people assume you share their point of view, but it's whenever I encountered it, I could not stay silent. And you got to shame people too, because if they automatically think that you're and that you're one of them, it's great to pull their covers, because it's part of educating people, because people, I think, are very much misinformed nowadays, and that's why I do a podcast. I know that's why you guys do it too, like to get the word out that there really is a mass malinformation issue in this country, where people are just not in grasp of the facts. Like, for example, with Obamacare, okay, everybody's premiums are going up, not because of Obamacare, but because of the for-profit health insurance racket and the Republican sabotage of the only health regulations that we have. And they did everything to make Obamacare expensive by eliminating what was called the risk corridors, by eliminating every other subsidy, not just the recent ones, but also, for example, the mandate, and every mechanism that was supposed to make our premiums low, they destroyed. And that's not the message that's out there, and it's driving me crazy. Even now, as people are saying that Marjorie Taylor Greene, for example, is somehow seeing the light because it's affecting her family directly. She's not seeing the light. She's spreading the lie that Obamacare is the problem, and anyway, I don't want to get off on the Obamacare tangent, but it's just another example of how there is a lot of misinformation out there, and it just becomes part of the zeitgeist and the conversation. And it's it drives me crazy, because I only have my little podcast trying to screaming into the wind. But if we are all screaming into the wind, I mean, eventually it's got to break through. So I think I think what we're doing is having a difference. But the like we were saying about how it's heartening to see what happened on election day, and when you're saying that it's the veterans leading the charge, a lot of that is because of they can. A lot of people are working their 3 uniquely American low-paying jobs and can't get away. So we do what we can when we can. So that's why we have to educate everyone we encounter, I think. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think, and somebody said in the chat, Trish said about Marjorie Taylor Greene specifically, was she's just mad because she can't run for the Senate. Well,
that's it.
Okay, then let's say that. Like, that's okay to say. Like,
yes.
The next chapter,
You're
chapter
right.
9, is be kind to our language. And it, like, the opening statement says, think up your own way of speaking, even if only to convey the thing that you think everyone is saying. Well, Marjorie Taylor Greene does not like Donald Trump right now because he is inhibiting her political ambitions and career. So she's pushing back against him. And okay, like, good. Let's have her continue to push back. Like Shane said earlier, reward her for the good action she's taking right now by saying, yeah, good job on that. But I'm not going to forgive you for anything else until you've proven that you are different. And if you're not, well, then you're just a fucking political tool. Like,
right,
let's build a coalition.
A political tool, right? Like, they're so transactional on the other side about who they use and how. Well, she's just right there to be used as a tool, and we should not feel any. I think we should use what she's saying, because that'll move some people that we will never get to.
Mm-hmm.
And just knowing that she's, got her finger in the wind, and she's probably one of the first to clock whatever's going on. And she moves on it quickly because she's pretty self-interested. And
Mm-hmm.
so in some ways, she's the canary in the coal mine, right? If she sees, oh, my position is somehow in jeopardy, then we can learn from that and, be transactional about
Yeah.
how we use what she says.
Part of it is, I think part of this is we need to acknowledge to her that it might be okay if she decides to leave the Republican Party. We just don't want you in the Democratic Party. Like, that's okay too. It's okay to say those things. Like, I
Yeah.
don't care about a big Democratic Party. I don't care about a big Republican Party. In fact, I wish they'd both go the fuck away, because then we could actually have real coalitions and real debate and more of a real parliamentarian style system where we'd actually have to form minority groups and
Right.
coalition governments where maybe the Speaker of the House isn't from the largest party in power, but the largest coalition in power. And guess what? Coalitions change in form. I don't care about what Marjorie Taylor Greene has to say on social issues, because she's a bigot and a racist, and she doesn't like anything that I care about. Like, she's not here for trans
She's
rights.
ignorant too.
She's ignorant.
She's an ignoramus. She fell down a Q hole a few years ago. That's how she got into politics. Before that, she was obsessed with CrossFit. That's, she goes from one obsession to another. She's not very, she's not educated. She's not intellectually curious.
She thinks
She's
Jewish
not.
people have space lasers starting fires in California. However, she's willing to listen to women who were abused and
Yes, that's
raped
one good thing.
and basically tortured as girls and trafficked. And I'm willing to give her the grace in that area, because if she's willing to listen, that's what we've been fucking asking for, isn't it? So let's not slap the hand away.
I'm not talking about that.
No, not us, not us.
Yeah,
let's not, as overall, let's not slap her hand away right now. She's in power. This is different than Graham Plattner. Like, Graham Plattner's not in power. He's got a fucking Nazi tattoo, and I don't fucking like him. And he has no record to show that he would not just jump ship and switch boats. Marjorie Taylor Greene is an enemy we know, and a politician we know who's easily manipulated by what her constituents really want, and whether she's afraid she's going to lose her job. And they're gerrymandering the fuck out of her district even more.
It's already
which is going to
gerrymandered,
loosen her powers. So she has to play the game, and good. Let's force her to play the game, to do what we want. And when we're done using her as a political tool, we stop being in a coalition with her. It's that easy. Like,
well, she's not backing it up with anything. I mean, she's going on Bill Maher and saying her, spewing the half truths about Obamacare, but she's got nothing to offer. There are only a few fixes. She says, oh, well, my party has no ideas for healthcare. They have no ideas for anything except make the rich richer, but they don't have any ideas on healthcare because Obamacare is the Republican healthcare plan. It always has been. So what are you gonna What are you gonna propose? That's what you got. They want to go back to the bad old days where the insurance racket had no regulation and we were at their mercy, as we really still are, because millions are left out. Millions declare uniquely American medical bankruptcy. 45,000 Americans needlessly die because of this rapacious, disgusting racket that shouldn't exist. I mean, any other industry that killed so many Americans every year and bankrupted others would not be allowed to exist. So I don't know. I guess this is what we get for being so divided. It really is true. This is the punishment we get for being divided. We have to, and they know that. We have to come together as a country, but it's not going to happen until we have a unified message that really breaks through the lies. And I guess people are waking up on the maggot side because they're feeling the pinch, they're feeling the pain. But now's the opportunity to get in there and with the truth. But the whole currency of truth has been devalued in this country. So anyway. Yeah, I know we're talking about on tyranny, But it's all connected. It really is. It's definitely all connected. And I'm, the last election day did give me hope that we can get this back, but it's going to be a long ass year. It's going to, a year until we can, put some restraints and maybe get some investigation. But, and also, how are we going to do that with Chuck Schumer, in control, right, of the Democrats? So, yeah.
Yeah. And so
Well,
I'm going to
that's-
push back on a comment that's in the chat. So about the political discourse around multi-party system. Someone put into the chat, I too favor a multi-party system, but how the fuck do we get there before winning as Democrats with a massive voting turnout and then taking over the party to get the changes we want legislated, including ranked choice voting, multi-party, increase the Supreme Court, state of DC, Puerto Rico, others, stop depressing voter turnout. No third-party BS right now. Save that for when it can work. Well, when the fuck am I supposed to talk about it then? Like, how do we get to the point when it can work if we can't talk about it to plan for it to work? Stephanie and I are talking about this as Project 2075. So
yes,
but
we need to be more creative. We can't use their words. Yeah.
Sure. Project
no,
2075 may be a different title, but the idea is it's a 50-year plan that we implement step by step by step by step. And we have to have the end goal in mind. No, ranked choice voting is something that, no, multi-party system is not something that we're going to get in the next 2 to 4 years. It is a 10 to 20-year project. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking short term here. So I'm going to be very clear with my truth and speaking the truth. This is not an overnight solution. I'm standing up for the truth right here, which is I believe in a long-term strategy that we implement step by step by step by step, because Americans are tired of the only people having a plan are the right-wing folks. Like they have Project 2025, which was a 40-year plan that they organized. We can't think past 2 on the Democratic Party side. Yeah. There's no wonder we keep losing. So I'm going to keep talking about a multi-party platform, not to suppress the vote, to encourage the vote, because I want pluralistic representative democracy. I want a multicultural society. But to get there, we have to be bold in how we talk and what we talk about and get people behind those ideas and say exactly what you said is, yes, don't vote for a third party right now. Run as a Democrat so that you can force the party to eventually break apart and become the system that we desire. Run as a Democrat, yes, but I am going to rail on the Democratic Party. I'm going to rail on the Republican Party. I'm going to rail on groups like Midas Touch and the Bulwark, because that's my fucking First Amendment right to do. And it gives us a strategy. It gives us a strategy to move forward, and it gives everybody in the audience a plan that they can grasp for. It gives us ideas that we're for. Okay, but what about a shorter 10-year plan?
Yeah, I think it's maybe 5 years.
That's exactly what a Project 2075 is about.
Well, that's it. Just 2075 just seems so far away. Like, are we even?
They've been doing it for 50 years.
Yeah, we have to think about a project over 50 years. Like, break it down into sprints of 5-year cycles. Can we start with
get money out of politics? Maybe. Like,
maybe that's part of it, though. Is part of the first 5 years is overturn Citizen United. Like, that's where this is the strategy. Like, we need to seize the opportunity, like Shane just said, to make the strategy so that we can then make those little 5-year plans of here's what we're handing through Senate America's legislative arm, because Senate America is a 501c4. They can propose legislation. Using Senate America and groups like that, we can break down a 50-year plan into very, very simple, consumable pieces that actually give people what they're voting for and a real platform. Like, the Democratic Party doesn't have a platform anymore. It's anti-Trump and status quo. So what are people voting for? Like, the FDR second Bill of Rights didn't come out of nowhere.
Yeah. Like, Mamdani just ran a campaign where he didn't, to my knowledge from the ads I saw, he didn't even talk about Trump. He He didn't give any energy
Exactly.
or any of that to what's going on. His campaign was relentlessly optimistic, relentlessly positive, relentlessly on focus for what the issues were for that city. And he proposed things that people all over the political spectrum were like, oh
I
no,
know.
we can't possibly spend our taxpayer
Yeah.
dollars on us.
Right.
Oh no. And yet he won in a fucking landslide.
Because
So
people are sick of it.
he
And
was
I live in New York, and
right.
it was listening to Cuomo go on about how you're never going to get it done. You'll never do it. Shut the fuck up. Okay.
Yeah.
You never do it. Go away. Get out of the way,
Right.
Cuomo, and let people at least try to do something about this broken ass system, because it's not the people who are broken, it's the fucking system.
Yes.
This kiss up, kick down, I got mine oligarchy sucks to be you, that they're dragging us backwards back to the times that the founders overthrew, where the rich run and rule and everybody else awaits their rewards in heaven while toiling in the fields. And that's what they want, and we can do nothing about it. And they just pass on power to their loyalists, like this fucking baboon in the White House, right? Like all of it, the whole thing is unfolding in front of our eyes. But that's why Mandami, I watched that speech that he gave too. It was absolutely refreshing. But then the fact that friggin' Chuck Schumer couldn't even say that he voted for him or not. And what happened to vote blue no matter who, Schumer? I thought that was
that's a huge fracture in the Jewish community right now over Mamdani, and how it's a little bit generational, but it's a really big seismic explosion in the Jewish community. So Chuck Schumer being a part of it is he probably actually is somehow voting the way he thinks. A large part of the Jewish community thinks that Mamdani is dangerous because he once said globalize the intifada, and we experience the intifada as exploding cafes and buses. But do we really think that's what he meant? No, he meant justice, right? So I had somebody that I've known for it was 1989, a long time ago, right? Is sitting there on Facebook talking about how Mamdani is the big danger, and Nick Fuentes, she at least knows who he is, so he's not that dangerous. It's fucking
wow,
insane, but it's there. And so that's something that the Jewish community has to work on and come to terms with. I'm going to talk about it week after next. But it's not just a Chuck Schumer being spineless. It's a much
I mean, but that whole globalize the anti-fada thing, this is more right-wing disinformation to spread that kind of fear and against Mamdani, because he's clarified all over and over and over and over that he didn't use that term. He discourages the use of that term. There's no public a record of him saying that term, except for people saying that he said it. So there's no video of him saying it. And they've recently, for example, the New York Post and on Fox News, they came out saying that Mamdani is a commie. He said that he wants to take over the means of production. That's what, and we have a clip of it here. And it was him at a college Democratic Socialist group, where they literally took him out of context, where he said, well, some people say, socialism is taking over the means of production. And they literally cut it out and then spread it around on the cover of the New York Post, just like they did when Biden was in Normandy and he was talking to the parachute people, and they were like, he's wandering off. And then they cut the guy out, that he was talking to make it look like he was just talking to the wind. But it's literally propaganda. I did a piece on it on my show, pointing it out, because That's exactly what propaganda is. They take a clip of him, they take it out of context, and then they run with it with these blaring, screaming headlines saying he wants to take over the means of production. The means of production of what? What are you going to take over the means of production in New York City? Which, he's
Well, I mean,
like,
if we're going to talk about taking over the means of production, let's talk about the Trump administration
exactly
buying into Intel and
exactly.
to,
But it's
you know,
just this is, but the cognitive dissonance meets the Dunning-Kruger effect is the Republican Party right now, but it just goes to show you that they just say it doesn't matter what Mondami says or not, or they will take things out of context, they will put words in his mouth, and it's all to divide people against really the candidate that is running on FDR's platform. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Make it, some regulation on capitalism. He's talking about taxing billionaires 2% more, just a little bit, 2%. Whoopie fucking doopy. I
My
think you'll be
favorite
okay.
moment so far has been when Mom Donnie said, "You've paid more in ads against me than I even wanted from you from
That's
taxes."
right. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, I mean, sums it up right there. And that's
Mhm.
how much, I mean, how much more do you need, you scumbags? How
Yeah.
much more do you need? It makes me, no, it just makes me nuts because so I thought we were a Christian nation or whatever. We thought we gave a shit. Of course we're not.
Yeah.
But there's enough for everybody's need, but not for everyone's greed, as Gandhi said. And it's time to stop this bullshit. And they like to turn people against each other. That's what they're doing. They're just like Mandani said in his speech that they want to turn the people making $30 an hour against those making $20 an hour.
Yeah.
That's really it. So,
Yeah, and like thinking about this and how it relates specifically back into our book is in chapter 10 in my copy anyways, on page 67. Um, Looking into this specifically about propaganda is the next. So this is speaking about the big lie and buying lies. And so I'll read the last sentence from the previous paragraph and then just a little bit into, or the next paragraph. So the big lie created its own world where anyone who pointed to simple truths was the enemy. The next mode is magical thinking, or the open embrace of contradiction. A billionaire can pay neither taxes nor debts. Liberating the wealthy from taxes will not increase the national debt. Fighting corruption means selling the presidency for favors. A disease that kills hundreds of thousands will vanish. The winner gets fewer votes. The vote is always rigged, and you should vote for me anyways. Black people are taking the vote away from white people, although American history shows that the opposite has been the case. Accepting untruth of this radical kind requires a blatant abandonment of reason. Yeah, like we're in that. There's no reason here. It's all irrational thoughts and contradictory statements that they make that confuse and convince people of that they need to be afraid and in this lie and hate each other, and that communism is somehow equated to socialism all the time, even though one's an economic system and one's a governmental system.
That's
and we already live in a socialist economy, but only if you're wealthy.
Yep.
And we're just asking for equal and fair treatment under the law of socialism in our country. Like we're already we're a democratic socialist nation. Let's just embrace that. We want real truths. We want to be kind to truth. Let's
You don't
talk
like
truth.
capitalism? You're not a capital? What?
We're a democratic socialist nation with capitalistic capitalistic ideologies that want to be led in masses of authoritarian rule. But we just want the democratic socialism part and not the authoritarian rule part.
Yeah, we just want some regulation on capitalism. That's it. We want an economic system that works for the majority, not just the few at the top. That's all we are asking for, and that's all we deserve. I mean, that's all we want to make this country great. I mean, when they want to talk, this is what annoys me about Republicans, besides everything else, is that they want to go back to the good old days. When were the good old days? I guess to them, the 50s, where Beaver's mom stayed home and Beaver came and had some hijinks pure PG-13 hijinks around the neighborhood or whatever. And but they don't want to go back to the top marginal tax rate of 90% that created the middle class, well, the white American middle class. And they don't want to go back to, the 35% unionized workforce. They want to go back to the strict racial hierarchies and social mores. That's it. They want to go back to when they could say the N word, and there was no canceling of them, and they could treat people like shit. They can grab women's asses. They think they're like madman or whatever. But they don't want to go back to what actually made this country great, because they talk about the greatest generation. The greatest generation voted for FDR's New Deal 4 times in landslide elections. The greatest generation were socialists. They understood that. They rejected the laissez-faire, sucks to be you economics of the Republicans that left them on the breadlines. So, and they embraced the New Deal in 4 landslide elections. So that's what we're dealing with. The fantasy and the reality. The reality is that the middle class, the white middle class of that my father benefited from, was created by government policy, and that's been unraveling for since Reaganomics, and we have to go back to that. So you want to make America great? Democratic socialism. That's how you make it great. Even these maggots, who are crying about losing their benefits. That's, I mean, I'm not. Hey, I'm all for feeding everybody, but also making sure they know like what they voted for. Like, you voted for this, booby. You voted for this.
And it's also remembering that part of holding on to truth is holding our own side accountable too.
Right.
And so I see some stuff going on in the chat, and I said it earlier, is why I push back against Midas Touch and the Bulwark and larger networks like that. And I do it for a reason, because I'm starting to get my own microphone that people listen to, but I'm putting actions behind my words, and I'm helping to like actionably do things, like get you guys out there and do things, not asking you, hey, should we do this? Should we go sue somebody and do this? No, Midas Touch, go fucking sue them. Like, we've already told you that's what we want.
Midas?
They're not using their money. They're not using their money in actionable ways.
I see.
It feels like they're getting into the Midas's own illness of seeing gold in everything and hoarding it like dragons. And I want them to be held accountable on our side too, to the people who funded them, who gave them their wealth and the ability to have this microphone and use it, because they said they would. They said they would be they would be an actionable group for democracy, not a microphone, not a rehabilitation center for the Republican Party, not a rehabilitation center for Marjorie Taylor Greene, not sensationalists. Exactly.
I agree.
They are sensationalists. I want them to tell us the news, to tell us the truth, and then give us actions. Not just say, oh, should we go sue the Trump administration? Yeah, when they fucking started tearing down the White House, you should have been paying somebody to stand outside of it with a fucking lawsuit in their hand and a cease and desist order saying you don't get to do this before it came down. They could have game planned that out. We all knew he was going to do something stupid and drastic. You have these things formulated out. I'm not a lawyer, but they were, like, all of them. Like, they were basically all lawyers. And they hire teams of lawyers, but they're not doing it.
Even beyond that, the actual work of on the ground journalism, like, some of my readers cash at me money so I could go to DC and be there. They have all that money, and I didn't see them there. I didn't see Aaron Parnas at the fucking at the rally. I didn't see.
Actually, I think he was there.
AP News and Routers and NPR was what I saw, and then I saw a handful of people like me, like Substackers, TikTokers, YouTubers that were just there. But then you have these entities that are setting themselves up as the new media organization. What are you doing then if you're not doing media, if you're not doing the
Right.
journalism?
Well, they're
on the ground?
hiring
You're
those.
reading headlines.
Yeah, they're spending a lot of money hiring people who were fired from legacy outlets. That's what they're doing. And
Well,
giving
to
them
be fair to
platforms.
Aaron Parnas, he was, doing media, doing actual journalism in the Capitol itself over the last couple of days. So I think we've got kind of different.
Mhm.
Yeah,
sorts.
I'm not
I
calling
think we have
Aaron
to-
Parnas out. I'm calling Midas Touch out, the organization, the business.
Right.
I'm not saying Aaron Parnas isn't doing. I see how hard he's fucking working.
Oh my
Like,
God, I
that
don't
dude
know how
works his ass off.
Yeah.
He's killing it. He's an on the ground reporter. But there's not enough of them. There should be an army of Melissas out there being paid for by the Midas Touch, the Bulwark, larger organizations pooling their resources into, say, what Brian Tyler Cohen is doing for independent creators and the Chorus organization, and how they're helping to fund people to be creators, how Blue Amp Media is going out and doing $500 micro grants for creators. Where's Midas Touch's micro grants? Like, where are you guys said we needed a left-wing independent media like apparatus and machine. Okay, go fucking help fund it. Like, where's your creator fund? Why aren't we getting phone calls all the time? Like, people keep telling us in every one of our shows and on feedback that we get that we're incredible Substackers, and then we're putting out really good quality trusted content, and I'm going to brag on us for that. Like, we should self-brag. We're doing a great job here. We're being trusted and honest and open, and we're correcting ourselves when we're wrong, and we're putting ourselves in actionable positions, and we're doing things like scan the QR code in the top corner, if I can figure out how to point my finger right, that way, top corner of the screen, to help fund Feeding America through Banner and Backbone. We got our first donation last night, a $50 donation. Thank you. That was incredible. We have a $500 goal right now. We'd love to get that to 10,000. Like, seriously, y'all, we could raise 10,000 or more dollars easily as a community. Midas Touch could instantly put in millions. Like, that's the difference, is we're actionably doing it. We're just asking them to do what they said they would do and to stand up and be actionable for us, because now is not a time for just microphones. Now is a time for action and engagement and on the ground reporting. And like Melissa and I were talking about yesterday on our vet talk, was Midas Touch could fund somebody like Arturo Dominguez to go to Venezuela or Colombia or a Central American country and do insider on the ground reporting and get us truth about what happened in those countries. We have people who would probably be willing to do things like that if only our left-wing journalistic outlets that have millions of dollars would pay people to do it. Like, we shouldn't be having to beg all of you guys to like keep giving us donations or like coming to be paid subscribers. Yes, please become paid subscribers.
Please become paid
Please,
subscribers.
because that is how we actually get our voices further out there, because nobody else is paying us to do it. We don't have fucking corporate ad buys, and we don't have connections with HBO and other mega corporations that these guys came from. We're just people at home who are like you guys, like everybody in the audience.
Check out home.
Like, we're stepping up to do it, and we want your guys' support, but we want the bigger networks to do what they said they would, which was support us and stand for that truth and be proud of it and don't bend, because we can't do it alone. So that's really what it is. That's where it comes from. And it fits in with our conversation a lot, is we want the truth, and we're going to stand up for it, and we're going to put ourselves out there every single day as who we are. Like, each one of us has something unique about us that we are good at on this screen. Like, the four of us have incredible uniquenesses. There's tons of people in the audience that have incredible uniquenesses that each one of you can do something. I say it all the time, is go out and create. Like, stop waiting for permission. Go out and create. Go do it. And we'll help you. We'll find a way to help you, because if the bigger networks aren't going to do it, we will. And that's all we're asking.
Right. I think the fact that we're platforming people is huge. I think the fact that, we each do that, you, Nick, and you, Melissa, talk together about the massing of naval forces in the Caribbean, and I don't see that talked about anywhere. That's
so
fucking insane.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And,
Well,
when
because
I
he kicked everybody out of the Pentagon that would talk about it.
Right.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
But
literally
it doesn't-
within 4 days of that agreement, he kicks out the entire press pool, and then they remove the forward strike group from the Med and send them down to the Caribbean.
Right, but you don't have to be they're big ships.
Yeah.
They're not like fishing boats.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's something that you don't have to be a Pentagon reporter
Right.
to find out about and talk about,
But it requires money, and it requires time and sacrifice for those of us who are doing the work and like setting up these connections and getting people out there. Like, Melissa's willing to go to DC once a month at least and be an on the ground reporter. She does incredible on the ground reporting for the judicial branch and things that are going on in Norfolk, Virginia, and around flock safety and the surveillance state. Stephanie Wilson is doing incredible work getting things set up and organizing and connecting people and offering areas of support where, say, I'll even admit she's actively supporting me in a lot of ways and helping me build my network and growth and build the community that I'm trying to help build. And she's out here doing all of this work, connecting people and getting amazing interviews, and then trying to get people to actionably help from there. Tara's out here doing the same thing all the time too. She doesn't just rail on the machine. We don't just rage against the machine. She loves, I've listened to Tara rage against the machine, and I love it. But she puts actions against it, and she's not held down anymore by any like big corporate needs or any like, we're all independent here.
Right.
I rage against the machine all the time, and sometimes I like to take the temperature down and put in my logical stamp and moderate. But I can get going with the best of them here.
Well,
and 3 of the best are here.
Niceness and advocacy and stick-to-itiveness, I never understand why that's a word, but whatever, are not mutually exclusive. First of all, nice is yes. I think a word that has a whole lot of other different meanings, but kindness and all these other things are not mutually exclusive. And if we can use our kindness and our empathy and our humanness to build each other up, to build a community, to get to know other folks, that's how this is going to happen. And as Nick said, we need to be thinking in 50-year increments with little steps. Anybody who's ever written a strategic plan, right? You come out with a goal and you have, had a timeline, and you have different strategies that you employ at different times with different tactics to support those. And I feel like there are so many, or we are doing that, but there are so many organizations doing that on the ground that are doing phenomenal work, like in Virginia. They have been working for a decade for a result like what happened on Tuesday. So, like, where am I going with this? Being good people and doing good things are complementary. They're not mutually exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, one thing that what really gets on my nerves, besides everything else, is that this whole drinking liberal tears things and what you're talking about, being kind and all. I think that what we share is all, the heart of kindness and caring about other people. I don't get upset just because things affect me personally. It's the justice, and the injustice of others, of watching other people. I mean, I'm not going hungry today. I don't have SNAP benefits myself, but it's outrageous that our fellow Americans are struggling and don't know where they're going to eat. It's disgusting. So, and we have a duty, a patriotic duty to do something about it. We don't have to live like this. And what really gets me crazy is, I mean, it is the why they have us divided. So, along every fissure of disunity, like Henry Wallace wrote about in the 1945 article in the New York Times, The Dangers of American Fascism. And if you hadn't read it, please Google it. It's pertinent. Is that the word, pertinent?
Pertinent, yeah.
Yes, today, as it was when he wrote it. In fact, probably even more so. But we have to. What really gets to me is that when these effing Republicans say, "Oh, they're owning the libs," they're just doing it to own the libs. They're triggering the libs. They're like, who the hell is proposing policy because you think it's going to annoy your fellow Americans? I mean, fucking, what the fuck is wrong with you? And you think, and then when they're annoyed about it, and it's not even about being annoyed, it's about watching people go hungry or lose their health care or needlessly die because they can't go to a doctor. And then they say, well, I'm drinking your tears. Like, fuck you, you know? I'm sorry. It's very early for me to be cursing like this.
Yeah.
And, but the topic at hand. And I mean, we really have to shame that. Shame on you. You know, if that is what gets you going, drinking the tears of your fellow Americans, you know, take that flag down in front of your house. Take that flag off your chest, whatever, you know, they love all the symbols of patriotism, just not the substance. Right. So, you know, it's patriotism is making sure that no one has to go hungry, that no one has to suffer and needlessly die without health care. You know, this country wasn't built by rugged individuals who drank each other's tears. It was built by people who pledged their lives, fortunes, and sacred honor to each other and overthrew a king and an aristocracy, right? I mean, and all their flaws, right? But, you know, that's how human beings are made, to be interdependent. We would not, you know, I mean, together we could, I mean, what is it? Alone we can survive, together we can thrive. Like Neil Armstrong didn't get to the moon as a rugged individual. He got to the moon through all bunch of socialist policies, like a 90% marginal tax rate, you know, the unionized workforce that made those contributions possible, and all of the science and, you know, the collective mind of people that got him there. You know, he may be the one who stepped on the moon, but he wasn't alone doing it. So I'm just sick of the, you know, this whole sucks to be you American mentality. It's and that's the, you know, the other thing that's getting on my nerves is that some of the unions are telling the Democrats, okay, end this shutdown because our members want to want to get back to work and they need their checks, and that is true. But we're fighting for health insurance. And the reason why these unions are all good with going back, hey, we got our health insurance. That's what it is. Like they want to go back. They need their paychecks. We all do. And the fact that people can't miss one paycheck without, or, you know, now it's into the months, but without going to a food bank, you know, that's not middle class. Like everybody, we need to wake up. Like this is fucked up. But, you know, it's this whole I got mine mentality, though. There's not, you know, none of this unity. If this was France, let's say, it would be kind of understood that, yeah, we're in this together and we will fight for as long as it takes together, instead of, hey, well, I got my health insurance. I don't need health insurance. So let's, we you know, end the shutdown. You know what I mean? It's like, what about the other Americans who need what you take for granted? So, all right. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm filibustering.
No, I totally agree. And I do all. That's okay. Filibuster. Maybe we get rid of the filibuster rule.
The Tarabuster. It's a Tarabuster.
The Tarabuster. Okay. We are just over we're over our over our hour mark. And I want to give everyone a chance here we're going to close out our conversation. I want to get Melissa here on the screen to sell herself, this part of the community and building each other up. sell yourself, Melissa. Get out there. How can people support you?
Yes. Just please help me get to DC at least once a month. I live fairly close. I can hop on the train in the morning and come back at night. I do wish this opportunity had presented itself in my life in my 20s because I'm fucking tired. But
I hear you.
it was a long day, but it was exciting, and I am so absolutely thrilled because part of my thing with independent media is I want to see the truth. I'm frustrated there aren't enough outlets out here showing the truth, and so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go live all day when I'm there, and so you can see minute by minute. There's no spin, there's no edits. It is what it is. You see it through my eyes. So yeah, all the paid subs go to support that work of constant investigating, constant journalism. Yep.
Become a paid sub with Melissa to help her buy some battery backups for her phone
Yeah.
so she can be on
Please.
all day.
Oh yeah,
Like that's
Yeah,
what
my
paid subs
phone
can
blinks
help us
out at
do.
least once per trip. Yeah.
you're right. It's the
Yeah, like
practical, you want the content, you want, you appreciate it. There's those practical needs like getting your power and battery packs.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So Melissa, thank you. Yeah, go be a paid or free sub with Melissa. It helps.
Yes.
Stephanie, how about you, my friend?
So I am the host of Freedom Over Fascism, which now has 2 live shows a week, and lots of people coming to me asking to be on, which is really exciting. And we talk about a little bit about what's going on, but I try to provide context for why things are happening with different kinds of guests. I try to have guests that maybe are doing something in one part of the world, the country, where, it would be great for other people to hear it because there's no other way they would hear about it. And I want to be building this community so that we have each other. And I'm going to make a bid for paid subs too. I totally understand that everything costs more now.
Yeah.
But those paid subs, we're in the same kind of boat that everybody else is. We don't know what my husband's going to do for work for next year. So like, I'll ask, and hopefully I give you value. And for paid subs, I'm going to start doing a weekly Zoom instead of a stream so that we can actually have conversations and talk with each other. So that's coming up soon. FreedomOverFascism.us.
Thanks so much, Stephanie. Appreciate it.
That's awesome.
And again, please become a paid or free sub with Stephanie. Thank you, Melissa. We'll talk to you again next week.
Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you, guys.
And next, we've got our good friend Tara.
Hello.
How about you, my friend?
Hello. Just become, a patron or Substack subscriber. That would really help. Paid or free. Free is good. Paid is okay. Everywhere you go, people are asking you for money. I know how annoying it is. But this is how we do it. We have to support each other, and we stick together, we win. So if you have that, if you can, I hate the e-begging, but it is a necessary evil. If I won the lottery, or if my father was, a rich titan of industry instead of a garbage man, I wouldn't be asking for money. But anyway, tonight there's Tara Buster tonight, 8:30 p.m. We go live here on the Political Voices Substack and on the Tara Buster YouTube page at youtube.com/cfchannel/Tara Buster. And yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
Please.
Thanks so much, Tara. As
Thank
always,
you.
it's so much to get to hang out with you. So much
You
fun.
too,
I appreciate it.
guys.
Great insights. And yes, become a paid
All right.
or free sub with Tara. Help her build her Substack up
Yes.
too. Let's keep boosting
Yeah,
her subs back up.
I got to get a respectable number here. I mean,
You're
it is getting
getting
a
there.
little better. It's getting there.
We're building you up on this side.
Thank you.
Helping you expand your reach, which is.
Oh yeah, that's right. And I'm gonna do a Tuesday show on Political Voices starting in a couple of weeks. It was gonna launch next week, but I can't do it next week for another scheduled thing. It's talk about not getting sleep. So it'll start on the 18th, and I'm gonna have JoJo from Jers on as
Ooh,
the guest. So yeah,
That's
that should
it.
be
that's
good.
gonna be
I know.
awesome.
That's a great one. Yeah.
I
It's a
know, right? Right.
great interview.
How did that happen? Yeah.
That's because you're awesome, Tara. It's because you're awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. You too. You too,
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you. And I'll sell myself here for a second. Come join me at Sick of the Shit Publications, which is my main publication, focusing on chronic illnesses, more health related issues, community building, and visibility for ourselves and being consistently visible and staying in the message. But I'm also starting to put out things like some of my classical music that I've written and composed. And so any
Which,
support
by the way,
there,
is amazing, people.
Incredible.
Amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. It's one of my favorite pieces. So I just released a piece called Lento Vivo. It is for paid subs only right now. It's a flute trio, impressionistic style from when I was in France.
Wow.
Help me get to 250 paid subs and I'll unlock it for everybody. And then I'll start releasing a new
that's
piece
awesome.
every 50 paid subs. So that's really, I'm trying to build up over there. And I am asking for paid subs because it'll help me get things like desk microphone and webcam and new equipment that'll actually help me increase the value of our production. So please help me there so I can do those things and feed my family. And then finally, and just as importantly, is come support Banner and Backbone Media itself. We are a rapidly expanding and growing little independent media network. We are not funded in any way, shape, or form by any corporate donation or any dollar outside of you guys. Subscriptions are what drive us. Specifically here right now on Substack, subscriptions are what drive us and are helping build and give content like this, plus say new backgrounds and new designs and new expansions. We're on YouTube, we're on Twitch, we are working on getting into other places. We're supporting movements such as Feeding America, which right over my head here, scan that QR code and you can donate to Feeding America through Banner and Backbone. Every dollar goes directly back to the Feeding America organization and putting money into, or putting food into Americans' mouths right now, not later, but right now. And so help us support efforts like that. Help us support getting efforts like paying Melissa Corrigan to be a on-the-ground reporter.
Yeah.
Your money would pay for her through Banner and Backbone and things like that to be able to expand and get other contributors on here and big guests that we've had before and more collaborative opportunities. So like I said, we are the network of you. We are, our community is the network. Our community is everybody who's here and who keeps coming back. Thank you everyone for being with us for all of this. Thank you for joining us for another episode of the book club. Also gonna be able to come out here soon once we're done with On Tyranny with a supercut of the full book club set of episodes from the from all the weeks. So we'll start being able to do more things like the banner cast that we've done over the last 2 nights where we replayed all of the book club episodes and instead we'll group them into supercuts and we'll be able to do things like that and pieces like that of some of our other shows. So help us, help support this growth, help us so that we can help push other media companies too in a direction that's actionable and that helps Americans actually build a 50-year plan to get over fascism and create a multicultural democracy that stands the test of time. Because that 50-year plan is to help us to get to another 250 years. Like that's the goal. I want America to be around forever, long past me. But I want a better America for my kids and I want a better America now. So come support us, come help the network, come help all the great contributors. If you're on Substack, hit the subscribe button in that top left corner and join us and have a great rest of your weekend. If you can, try and enjoy some time away, try and relax, get some time to yourself, do the hearts out and just be good. Do something actionable for democracy. We'll see you all next week, Friday, 12:30 Eastern time, as always. And have a good weekend. Thanks, everyone. Let's start flooding the